All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking all about construction contracts
Ooh.
and specifically payment models.
Yeah.
Like, how does that all work? Because if you're about to spend a lot of money building something,
Yeah.
you want to know how the payments work.
Yeah.
So we're going to be diving into a document. It's a little dry, but it's called Commonly Used Basis of Payment, and it outlines 5 major contract types. Even if you're not in construction, this is actually kind of interesting. I mean, who hasn't had like a small, maybe not a small, maybe a big renovation done on their house
Right.
and thought, how does this work? Like, might I get ripped off? Like, how?
When do I pay? Yeah.
When do I pay? Exactly. So let's get into it.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this, it's kind of like payment is the engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get that right up front,
Right.
the entire project can fall apart.
Yeah.
It's all about what the contract type is.
Okay.
And there's these 5 main types that we're going to talk about. And even if you're not in construction, understanding these will help you just kind of navigate the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one, stipulated price.
Yes.
This is probably the simplest.
The easiest. It's like buying a car.
Okay.
You walk in, you know what you want, you settle on a price, you sign, and you drive off.
Okay, so
Very similar. Yeah.
saying for like a small, like a deck or
The
something?
deck would be a great example. You're building an addition on the back,
Okay.
a garage, very well-defined scope,
I see.
minimal surprises, right? Fixed. Okay. Fixed price. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
The only problem with that is if you decide you want to change things halfway through, that's when it gets tricky because now you're amending the contract.
Okay. So you're saying like if you want to change the design a little bit or like add something.
Yeah, you want to add a hot tub or something
Yeah.
like that, then you have to amend the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. So then the opposite of that is probably
Well, not the opposite. So the next one is called unit price.
okay. Unit price.
And that is, let's say you go to your favorite restaurant
Okay.
and they have the menu. Each item on the menu has a price associated with it.
Right.
So it's very similar in that you are negotiating a price for a specific unit of work.
It could be square footage of a building. It could be a linear footage of a sidewalk.
Okay, so it's like if you know that you're going to be doing something where it's like, all right, we know the general scope,
Yeah.
but we might need to like tweak the quantity a little bit.
That's it. Yeah. And it protects both parties
Okay.
because you're fixing that price for that unit.
Okay.
But it does require you to be very specific in defining what that unit of work is.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, now the next one, cost plus.
Yeah, cost plus. It sounds a little scary to some owners.
It does sound a little scary.
But it doesn't have to be. Basically, you're reimbursing the contractor for all of their costs.
Okay.
Plus a fee.
Okay.
Think of it like baking a cake, right? The
Right.
ingredients are the cost.
Okay.
And then you're paying the baker a fee
For their time.
for their time and their overhead and everything else.
Okay.
And that's essentially what a cost plus contract is.
So when would you do that?
When you have a lot of unknowns.
Okay.
So going back to the kitchen renovation example, right? If you open up a wall and you find mold,
Right.
or you find,
Yeah.
some other issue,
Yeah.
you don't know what it's going to cost to fix it. So a cost plus contract
Okay.
allows for that flexibility.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
So cost plus. Okay, what's next?
Target cost.
Target cost.
Target cost is kind of like, imagine if the owner and the contractor sat down
Okay.
and they put together like an ideal cost
Right.
that they want the project to come in at.
Right.
That's the target.
Okay.
Right. And then from that point on, it's basically a cost plus contract. Okay. But at the end,
Okay.
any savings or overruns are split between the
Or it's-
owner and the contractor.
Okay. So
So it really incentivizes.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a cost plus.
Yes.
But then at the end, whatever, like if it's under, great, everyone wins. If it's over, everyone kind of shares the burden.
You got it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
Guaranteed maximum price.
Sounds like a good one.
This is for the risk-averse owner,
Okay.
right? This is where a price cap is set at the beginning.
Okay.
And no matter what happens,
Okay.
the owner will not pay more than that.
So the contractor assumes all of the.
The contractor assumes the risk
Okay.
of any overruns. Now, the work itself is still performed on a cost-plus basis,
Go
so
ahead.
there's still transparency.
Okay.
The owner sees where the money's going,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, they're not paying a penny more than
Then that price.
that guaranteed maximum price.
Okay. So those are the 5.
Those are the 5, yeah.
So, I mean, this has been really helpful. But for the average listener, why does this even matter?
Well, you may not think you're going to build a bridge tomorrow,
Right.
but understanding these 5 contract types really just gives you the power to ask the right questions.
Right, to understand.
To your contractor, you can negotiate more effectively.
Like what? Yeah.
And you can avoid those nasty surprises
Right.
down the road.
So, like, if you're going into a situation, you can kind of say, okay, well, given that we know it's going to be this type of project,
Right.
this type of contract probably makes the most sense.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, yeah.
So, one thing that occurred to me as I was reading through this was that they talked about payments being made monthly,
Right.
like as you hit these milestones.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens in a really, really long project,
That's a great question.
like say like a massive bridge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's going to take a decade to build. Like, how does that work?
Right.
I don't know. And that's something I'm going to have to like dig into. So maybe that'll be our next deep dive. But anyway, this has been a great deep dive into payment models.
It has, yeah.
So
Yeah.
until next time.